Good afternoon, everyone. I'm facing a little bit challenge at internet connectivity. I have joined from my mobile, so just bear with me. Technical team is looking after the issue. Just wait for 2-3 minutes. Hopefully, we will get resolve this problem. Just wait for 2-3 minutes. Otherwise, I will take the session from mobile itself. Just wait for 2-3 minutes.
Okay, ma'am.
Still the internet issue is still going on, but still I'm going to start the session. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Vishnu.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes,
Okay.
you are audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Vishnu, just share it in your group so that everyone, we all can be on the same page. Basically, I have shared the URL of that blogs through which we can start our today's class. Basically, although my screen is not visible to all now, right? So we can start. नहीं नेट नहीं चल रहा मोबाइल से So even I have opened that the idea of this creating this blog is this only, so that the things should not hamper basically, right? So I have shared the my blog link with you people. Vishnu, you have shared, and you all must have already this with you, right? You just open that blog link and reach to the practical application section. You all are open to. Okay. So let me start the session with the practical aspect that revolves around gaining experience, skills, knowledge, and practical aspect of the software development that you do understand. Once we are into the gaining of practical knowledge, then the things will become more clear and all. So this is the only idea of having this one. So in the practical knowledge, uh, you all must be having the that practical guidelines note, that soft copy with you, which is readily available on eGyan Kosh also. I have kept the link over there also. So this lab it is basically an attempt to help you practice proper software development methodology, and that we do understand very well that yes, software engineering concept help us to, the theoretical knowledge of this software engineering will really help us to create a quality software product for various application. And software engineering basically it relates to the process of development of quality software normally. So software is the most expensive item into the computer system that we do understand. And when we talk in terms of cost comparativeness, then 90% of the cost is occurred in the development of the software, and only 5% of the cost is in occurred in the hardware, in the purchase of hardware and all. So that is why in software engineering, case tool, which is called as a computer aided software engineering tools, they help in many software engineering tasks with the help of this information, which is created using the case tool. So case tool, they basically, what is the role of case tool? They bring manual work to the automation. Means most of the tasks that we do with the help of manual effort, that is being transform into the technological tools and all. Then and then when and then required, we can use it. And apart from this, another important thing is that case tools support software engineering tasks for different phases of the software development life cycle, which is popularly called as a SDLC also. So we will discuss in MCS-217 practical aspect, we will discuss various aspects of the software engineering in detail also. The blog that you are referring now, that is having the brief objective of each and everything. That is, in this software engineering lab we will be having a defined objective in our mind must be there. Project management approaches are there, working with requirement part, every heading which is in front of you from 1.0 to 1.8, everything we will cover under this practical classes. And objective to you will is already being classified into this very clearly, that after going through with this practical session, you will be able to work with the problems which are given in particulars, and where the candidate will be able to develop the plan for the software project. Even the test cases can also be derived. And sometime it is not a good idea to create a software from the scratch or from the very beginning. Rather, sometime, or not sometime, rather most of the time we prefer to go for make the customized software out of the existing software. So here comes the role of re-engineering or disruptive technologies that really plays a very important role in the development of the software and all. And then the objective of this practical class also revolve around the preparation of and implementation of some change requests also. And the sources of change could be anything that we have also discussed so many times earlier also. That is like technological advancement and evolution into the technology, customers need, sometime, okay, I will manage it somehow. Let's see. Because tech team is working, so hopefully you will be able to get the attendance. Attendance is not an issue. I will cover it, no problem. So prepare and implement the change request. So yes, I was talking about that. Sometimes it is not a good idea to develop the software from the very beginning, and most of the time as a software engineer you will be receiving lots of change requests also. Sometimes the changes are smaller and sometimes the changes are bigger also. So these objectives that we are going to achieve under these classes, they will really help us to achieve the milestone and develop the software with good quality also, right? So the keeping this objective in our mind, we are moving ahead with a project management approach of software engineering, in which there will be lots of tools which will support in the project planning and scheduling. So the overall goal of the project is to create a proposed system as per the requirement of the client. In the past class, if I relate past class with that of the current class, so in the past class we talked about online library information system, or let's say examination system, whatever could be the example. So that proposed software with that in our previous example, as per that idea into the mind, we have to get an idea with respect to the proposed software system, that our software, our system should be able to read the structured data which is available in the Excel file and store it into the database system. And it should propose software should also ensure that there should be the validation of the data with respect to the database, and on the basis of some predefined business rules also. And apart from this, the proposed software should be able to produce the reports on the data that is found to be in error during validation. And foremost important part is the generation of MIS report from the validated data. So all these, we want as an outcome or output to be come out from this proposed software or system. In our example, I think in your class, I have taken the example of online library system. Yes, am I right? Yes, now, yeah. So I could remember that example. So yes, MIS reports are the reports which are required by the management to assess the performance of the organization and allow for the faster decision making also. This is the outcome. So we can say that that MIS report, which is the blending of technological tools and information system, and that really serve the management, the people of management at different level. Either they are the part of top management, or they are the part of middle management, or they are the part of lower management. So at different level, this MIS reports will help us to take on some concrete decision also. Apart from this, you must be aware of all these facts, that objective of MIS is what basically to capture the data, to process the data, to store the data, and of course to retrieval of the information is another important aspect. And sometimes retrieval is not sufficient. We need to we need to disseminate this data also, right? So the different roles of the MIS that ensures that the appropriate data is to be collected from valid sources, processing, and it should pass to the needy destination also. So the blending of management information system, business aspects or business analysis, and computer science, they actually define the basic role of MIS. Apart from this, MIS, while creating the MIS of any, of any software or any database technology or any kind of system, so it should satisfy through the query system, analysis system, modeling system, and all. Apart from this, yes, and it helps in the strategic planning also, because whatever, whenever anything happens at the part of organization, it is not by chance, it is always a conscious approach which works behind the scene, right? So MIS helps in taking some strategic decision, it helps in planning also. Management can have a, they can get the nerve point of the different operations which is going on in the organization at different level, and even the processing, transaction processing controls can also be monitored with the help of MIS report. So that is why I have kept some stuff over there into this blog that will really help you to write in the on the answer sheet also. So yes, MIS really plays a very vital role in the management, administration, and operations of the organization. So now there is a slight, line of difference between the summary and analysis. Sometimes when people join the time, join the organization, specifically when they are fresher or they don't have any previous experience, then they, they are not able to draw a clear line of demarcation between the, summary and the analysis. So that is why I have found some good stuff over there, and I have kept it for your, ready reference, so that you can refer it and uh, find out the difference between the summary and the analysis. Because most of the time, because entire, software engineering is, it revolves around the team of work. We have to use our human effort in a very productive way. What the, client is looking for, what your manager is looking for, what your, so a senior or senior software developer they are looking for. So we should be able to understand the thing also, that either they are asking for summary or they asking for, analysis report. So there's a difference between these two parameters. So just I want to, because I found lots of challenges into the people I asked for. I'm asking for the I'm asking for the, summary of the work, and they are providing me the analysis. They don't understand that, what has been exactly asked. So just so that some of you are already into the position, who don't have the such kind of, scenario, who has not faced such kind of scenario. But yes, there are certain people into into the same group also, that they must able to understand all these things. So keeping in view of all the people who are attending this session, I have created this stuff over there that will really help you to have a clear line of demarcation between the summary and the analysis. Although it seems to be sometimes similar to most of the people, but yes, there is a difference. So yes, analysis is very brilliantly, this line has been quoted over here, that analysis is said to be the backbone of software engineering. Yes, very clearly. Because at every stage, either I have to start your project work or not, either I have to go ahead in this, either I have to use this particular technology or not. Everywhere we have to gauge the thing, we have to measure the thing, and then analyze the scenario, situation, resources, manpower, capability of the people. Every time we have to analyze the thing, right? So analysis, yes, it is a detailed examination of a topic. It involves performing research and separating the result into smaller logical topics to form a reasonable conclusion. So it represents a specific argument about the topic and supports that argument with evidence also, right? So keeping in view of all this, parameter, analysis is something which comes out after processing. In simple terms, if we talk about, right? So the another fancy term that I have used here, that was the summary. Summary is something which we transform in that way, so that the things should not, not only it should be concise and crispy. Rather, sometimes we use some fancy terms also to just beautify the, content. And sometimes, let's say I have a 10-page document. I don't have so much time to go through with all these 10 pages. I have, communicated this idea to my, subordinate, that okay, just convert this 10-page document into 1-page document, so that I can easily refer it, and don't leave the, any important or key parameter out of it. So here comes the role of summary. And although most of the things whatever I have covered, that you do understand very well, but this gap is for those who don't have a clear line of demarcation between these two terms, right? So to summarize is to take the ideas and present them again in a more concise way, This is the beautiful aspect of summary, that in a short and crispy way you are able to grasp the idea, or in a single glance you can get an idea. Even you can put some, relevant images, relevant facts and figure, relevant examples. All these kind of stuff can also be the part of your summary report. And the idea is to analyze, to reach your own conclusion about how the elements of the topics are. Another, important aspect with that of the analysis and how it is different from the summary is that to summarize is to take ideas and present them in a more concise way, but to analyze is to reach your own conclusion also. So the intern, every person has its own way of thinking, its own experiences, its own horror or success stories also. So whenever we conclude anything, we put our own flavor also into this thing. So that is the beauty of analysis, that about the analysis part of the or analysis report also. And how the element of a topic or theory or issue, they get fit into the together and create a something that may not be evident at the first glance, but again it can really create a difference. So yes, you can jot down these points also out of the traits of summary and the traits of the analysis. That yes, summary, it highlights only the main point, it not get into the each and every aspect. Rather it takes, again it depends upon the level of understanding of the person who is going to create a summary also. If I have a little bit amount of knowledge on a particular topic, so I will take out only that point that that is up to my level of understanding, right? So it also matters, it also create a difference. So it also identify what's what state is and what is included into it, and different thoughts and ideas that were communicated when the things were going on, that was also being included, can be included into the summary. No argument, no condition is presented under the summary part. This is the another important key point with respect to the summary. But when it comes to analysis is a sometimes it is called as a theoretical, not theoretical, mathematical, implementation. Sometimes we have to go really in a very calculated way by keeping in view of certain parameters which are in our hand. It makes an argument or reaches a conclusion, choose specific element or areas to study which need to be included. It examines and interpret each element also. You never, you can't leave anything to be unattended. Discuss why. In the analysis we discusses why each element is important, why it was there and why it is not there, why anything is not there. So all these ins and outs, if and but, everything is the part of these are the different flavors of the analysis also. It might discuss causes and effect of that scenario also. If certain 5 solutions are there, then definitely there must be some causes behind it. Everything is comes under the analysis. So yes, it might discuss some sort of strength of the technology or for people or whosoever is involved, and advantages and disadvantages also. It might discuss effectiveness or ineffectiveness of the things also which are into the picture. So these are the important thing that, as per my understanding, I assume that it should be this differentiation must be in everybody's mind before they are going ahead on that part. Now, working is the requirement. Why we are here? Why we have discussed in the last class we talked about different aspect of the SRS, and how we have actually created a scenario in which there was a live problem in front of us, and live solutions were coming out, and everything was a part of that discussion. What all we have discussed, everything is, I hope everything is still in everybody's mind. So keeping in view of that agenda what we have covered in the past class, there are certain some of activities that we need to do with the help of this tool, that we can't forgot anytime. So which is the mandatory part? What all are the important parameters which must be included under the requirement part is, first one is cost estimation. So feasibility study at different level also ensure, and cost is the one of the most important factor, because we all are professionals here. We are not here for the sake of charity. There are different platforms where we can go for charity, but in software development of a house, we are here for the profitability of the organization for which we are serving. So cost estimation is the most important aspect of the this activity, which we need to analyze in advance before taking any sort of decision in terms of development and all. Creation of the SRS is another important aspect that we have to work on. Traceability of the requirement, once the things are being transforming, it means now we have to track, trace, and each and everything with respect to the requirement, what was actually mentioned into the SRS. And non-ambiguous requirement document must also be there. If ambiguity is there, so it means it will create the lots of rework, and lots of rework means lots of time consumption is there. Time is always considered as an asset to the organization. If most of the time, or large amount of time will be spent, so then again it is a uh, kind of cost to the organization. And creation of the model, so these are the different working requirement that we have to learn out of this. So there's a download option of download link option is also available with you, that you can download, so that you can track each and everything with respect to the parameters that we are going to cover. So yes, there is a list of problems that are to be attempted during the prescribed session. So these whatever I'm going to cover, that is the uh, key parameters which you can see itself with the help of that project guidelines and all. That in the software engineering lab, we all are supposed to fulfill this all lab session. And one important thing that is recommended from the in the past week, I have attended the orientation session that was planned, or organized by the IGNO for the internal members of the team and all, and I was a part of that session. So in that they have guide you people basically, that create in your own Google Drive, create a folder with the your name first. Then it should be separated by, let's say, underscore your enrollment number. Let's say I'm taking the example of Akhil underscore, let's say roll number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, right? So you create a folder, and whatever work is going on inside the lab classes, keep the copy of that file in the form of soft copy into that folder. So in the dashboard, very soon you will be able to have access onto the IGNO platform or IGNO online portal. You will be provided the access to upload your work itself. Although still the things are under process, still the things are in progress basically. So once that will be finalized, then the same will be communicated to you through different channels also. So till then, the things get materialized. You just do one thing: create a folder on your Google Drive, on the Google Drive of the IT from which you are registered here also, right? And in that folder should have primary your name. I have taken the example of Akhil, separated by underscore, your enrollment number, separated by underscore MCOL, online MCA, and that code that is associated with you. So this should be your folder name, and then as per date, practical date, or whatever work you are going on, keep everything in a chronological way, in a date-wise way. So in the past class, what we have done, we have taken the example of online, okay, online, what we call it as a library information system. So what all was the done? Although I do understand this very well, that you haven't. I think maybe some of you have note down, and some of you have not note down. No problem at all. So what was the agenda? That is clear to all, that we have talked about different scenarios, and rather we have applied the entire SDLC in a realistic way, what all kind of challenges, what all kind of activities is to be done under the each phase of the SDLC that we have discussed in the past class, right? So in your you can create a MS Word file, right? In Word file, you mention the date, class one, practical class one, date, and assignment was जो भी हमारा whatever was the our topic, that online library information system, we have to develop the SLS. Though, so there was a healthy discussion that was going on under this session. And entire SDLC was implemented. We have gone through with the requirement analysis phase. We have gone through with the designing phase. We have gone through with the coding and all the kind of mindset, queries, activities, whatever is to be required that was discussed in the entire. So after looking at your one page summary report, the other people who are auditing your data and all, so keep everything data with you. So whenever that LMS will get activated, so hopefully you will be told to upload that folder into the LMS IGNO LMS. Although it is not 100% full and final because still the things are in progress. Once they will be finalized, they will be freeze, then only this can happen. You will be able to get an entire credentials also to do certain transactions also, right? So this was the important message that I have to deliver. So the takeaway point for all of you is that just maintain that copy into your drive. Don't share it with anyone. Whatever is your understanding, whatever is your outcome out of it, you just keep everything there only. So that if sometime if it is not possible to upload onto the that portal, then hopefully in the during the practical session I can also one to one, although it is a very time consuming activity also, but yes, we have to do it if it will be recommended by the by the university basically, right? So what we are going to cover now, you can see first phase always of the software engineering, it revolves around the planning part. So development of a entire software is a kind of project, and we have to apply all the project management practices onto the development of the software. So that is called as a project planning. And under the project planning, you are able to see that four activities are supposed to be done. The first one is that you need to build the software for railway reservation system, write a statement of scope that describes the software. So in today's class in the morning, we talked about scope and all. What is the what is the current scenario in which your software is serving to the industry, and how what could be the the future prospects also with respect to that software. I will take on your query later. Just a minute, right? So all these things, that you need to write a statement in this regard, and that statement should be written in, although you can take notepad also, but I will recommend to go for notepad, so that if some sort of formatting features are to be required at certain time, so you can add it. So keeping in view of your first question is, that is railway reservation system topic, and it is the very popular and very deserving questions that is asked into the theory examination as well as the practical examination. So you need to write a statement of scope that describes the software. I will let you know the idea also. Firstly, let me cover what we all are supposed to cover in the entire practical session. Then we have to follow certain estimation approaches for the development, for the estimation of the effort and cost which is required to build the above software or quality software. We can use any estimation technique. We can go for COCO, that is cost constructive model, requirement analysis, and all. So requirement analysis is another important aspect of the effort estimation and cost estimation. So keeping in view of the requirement of the client, what the requirement has been raised by the client, accordingly we have to analyze each and everything, so that our effort and cost estimation should reach to the approx level, right? Another important thing is development of the SRS. So whatever format we have covered in the morning classes, that entire structure we have to develop based on to the topic, that is railway reservation system, right? Next question is draw DFD onto the same topic. RRS stands for Railway Reservation System. So you need to define the DFD. Yes, I will let you know how to create a DFD. Some of you are already aware of all these things, but some people are still in dilemma or confusion that for which symbol they create the rectangle, but not sharp edge rectangle. They create a round edge rectangle. So that creates a difference. That is not acceptable tool symbol for the DFD and all. So that I will firstly let you know each and everything, so that you can start developing and all. Then draw the this what we call it ER diagram or entity relationship diagram onto the same topic, right? And design data dictionary for RRS or railway reservation. And this alone, these four questions, if you, it is my humble request to all of you, although you all are very mature people, you all are here because you have taken this responsibility on your shoulder to cross all these levels and all. But still, just from my past experience, I just want to mention or submit one point over here, that if you will apply all these four questions with honesty at your own, even you are doing so many mistakes, your all mistakes are welcome here, because it is my philosophy, you can call it rather, that as much mistakes we will do, as much learning is there. So be open to all your mistake, be open to all your learning here. So even this platform is provided us to share our understanding with one another also, right? So even if I will have some gaps somewhere, I can ask for help from you people also. You all can guide me here, because these are not the classroom kind of session, these are the counseling session. We IT industry is an ever evolving industry. Every time new things are coming up, and some of you are of that age, that I'm having the experience of that their age factor. So you can understand the gap also. So yes, I always appreciate if you will guide me on this part. And this entire MC online have one another important component of your curriculum, that is project part, which is in MCA 4. So those who are facing some sort of, who who will clarify each and every doubt here with this, in these exercises and all. So they are not they will not face some the that great challenges into the MC4 level, when you will make the synopsis as well as the project report for your project. So once doing this single activity or these four small questions, that will create a very big difference in the later part of your MC online program. So it's my humble request that please just do it yourself only. And then comes lab manual design. In this, the entire idea is revolving around the designing phase. So designing phase we will learn about how to define the module. And sometimes the student or the learner, when they create a SRS, they just mention only the name of the modules, different modules that they are including into their software. So as for the recommendation at the part of industry, at the part of team who are managing each and everything, it is mandatory to specify the description of each and every module. Sometimes some parameters are obvious, yes, we do understand, but still, what, because every software is different from that of the another one, only in terms of functionality. So that functionality must be reflected in terms of your module design. So railway reservation, with the context of railway reservation system, you need to define different modules. Again, because you are this modular design I'm talking about with respect to the MC student. So I will recommend you to go for more than minimum 12 module minimum must be there. It should not be less than 12. Otherwise they will measure in this way, they will think in this way, that now you are the MC student, you have created a project of the BCA level. So it is again from the past, I have just get this idea that you can go for more than 12 module. It will be best for you. Even again, there's a tip for you, that if you have developed some project, obviously you must have developed into the BCA 6 semester. So you can take out the same project, change the name of that software, because IGNO will maintain the your database into their repository also. So I want that the same name should not appear, because otherwise it will take extensive your communication skills to make them understand that I have applied so many changes into this. So let's crack the point here. Uh, you take the same project that you have done into the BCA, change the name, relevant name with respect to that, so that you can reuse the same at the MCA level. If there were 8 modules, or let's say 10 module in the BCA level, add 5 module or five, 3, 4, 5 modules newer to this part, and then that will again it can be reused for your purpose. That can also be done. but I have shared that tip that you have to apply, right? Otherwise it's sometimes create okay, you have created the same into the BC, you have again shown with this one. So once if you will change the name, it will again not only it will give a feel good factor to the to you as well as to the people as well as to the database, right? So you can enhance because there is always some scope. Although if you will take the same name, still there is no challenge at all. It is just a small, because I have gone through with such a scenario in which the only name part was conflicting. So just to resolve that thing, I have just shared. Although you can same it because your project entire SRS will give the difference what was there into the BC and what is there into the MC, right? So you can also do the same thing. Even I, I have to just check it out. There's another project also into your MCA, that is called as a mini project. But I think now that I have to cross check first, because in new MCA it was there. Now it is still in MC online or not, that I will let you know by the next class. So that mini project means same BCA project you can reuse with some added functionality into the mini project, and some add more 5 4 features, and then take it as a major project. So in the old format, because this MC online is new to for us, for we people also. So there are certain rules and guidelines. Every time new is having different features, online is having different features. So still that once the things will settle down. So but by next class I will clear it that either mini project is there in your project or not, in your curriculum and all. So till now my understanding is that you don't have the mini project, and even if it is there, so you can use the same project twice also, but with added functionality, with added new parameters, right? So apart from this, in the designing phase, you have to give some ideas about the kind of interface that you are going to create for the railway reservation system and all. And testing, then in the testing you have, although it is a these are the things that you have already done into your C programming language also, that multiplication of the point this matrix using C language. Just the idea is that those who have not hands on this thing, this is important, because every software is developed using some language, and C is said to be the mother language of all other programming language. So that is why they have included that even if you haven't jumped from joined this MCA program from BCA to MCA, or you are let's say BA BCom student and all. So then in the MCA first C language is there, so that the things can be taught to the student who don't have any IT background and all, right? So that is why this simple program is there over there, that you have to execute on your machine, and just I will provide you the sharing rights, and then you can share your window so that I can just check it out. That's it. Next one is develop a set of test cases that will completely test the program. What all test cases, what type of test cases you suggest, what type of input is supposed to be there, what kind of scenarios will be generated, some sort of when you will go through with the that link, that is e-gyan coach link of lab manuals and all. So then they have provided you a kind of format also for the test cases. So that format you can use to jot down the test parameters and all, right? Next one is that test case should be separately developed for unit testing, module testing, and integration testing. Although I told you earlier also that there are n numbers of or 81 type of testing is there, but yes, every software should not qualify the criteria of 81 type of testing. It is not even possible, because testing is said to be the most time consuming and cost effective activity. And as per one statistics, I have come to know that a tester has more salary package than that of the software developer. So जहां पर हमारा सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर सोचना बंद करते हैं, टेस्टर से वहीं से शुरू कर देते हैं. So yes, the test case should be separately developed for each kind of testing that you have applied onto your testing and all. And as in the first class we talked about different types of applications, web application, console application, window application, and mobile application and all. So here in the practical part, they have given us a scenario in which we have to design a web page which will accept the metric as input, and then compute the transpose, that is convert the row into column and all. So that a kind of exercise that you have this sort of practices you are going to apply into your web designing classes also. And a web page should have two text boxes, everything, clear line of what we call it as a inputs which are expected from this exercise is written here that you can go through. So you need to compute the transpose. You need to have a button onto your web page, so that by clicking on it, once I will click on that to transpose button, then the row column will get transposed into the column, and vice versa also, right? So this is how the things are to be done. Apart from this, we need to develop the test cases for the web pages also. So here, while answering this particular question, you need to have an idea that yes, we don't have to create the test cases for the console application or for the mobile application or for the window application. We have to think only in terms of web pages, right? Then develop the test report. After testing these test cases, the software will be ensured in terms of quality and all. Here comes the role of now the beautiful aspect that I would like to mention here is with respect to these lab manual is that every phase of the software engineering has its own set of activities which is to be applied. So while what we call it as a application of all these activities, you are actually living live to all these activities which are done at the part of industry. So those who are not working, they can have a feel on that for part, that how exactly the logical way of working is, scenario kind of things are in front of you. Software quality, in this regard, we have to write a program that is correct but of not good quality. Now you assume the scenario, because you have done the part which was under your control, that is correct, but still the quality is not there, because things are running well, results are coming good, correct, not good, correct, but overall quality is not good with respect to the software. So in this is a very, those who will get into this kind of scenario, they will be able to justify the answer. So you are free to assume any sort of assumption, the way we do into the while resolving the mathematical kind of problems. Similarly, the same criteria you have to apply here also. So when you are answering this particular question number 11 under the quality part, software quality part, so you have to assume the scenario that how it could happen that my software is running well, it is doing correct operations and all, but still my client is not happy. I have to every time keep that customer into the heart of our software engineering, right? So you need to put relevant reasoning, relevant clarification, relevant scenario into this. Just uh, explore the things. You can Google search over there, no problem at all, because you have to create a scenario where you can justify your answer. Similarly, to qualify the criteria of quality, although quality is very important activity, and that is why uh, panelists make at the part of organization only where the expert people are there, who gauge the thing or who observe the thing, observe the gap also, and suggest us some corrective of action also. And they not only suggest, rather they audit it time to time also, so that the things can go to higher level or can be streamlined basically. So yes, in the another given scenario, we have to analyze such a scenario in which the again the program is correct but still not reliable, not secure, not safe, something like that. So what all could be the possible scenario? Because we have discussed this point earlier also, that security, safety, all these are the important aspect of any software. Although how the I think the net issue has been resolved. Let me check. Just yes.
So yes, I was covering this point number that is 12, which is here. So we have to justify our answer by taking some suitable assumptions and all. Next comes software change management, again, which is very, very important. Let me take you, okay, let me cover this 20 points only. Then we will jump to another part. Change management. Again, change is the integral component of any software life cycle. Changes, there are not many, scenario where change arises. Sometimes just to survive in this competitive cutthroat competition, we need to, manage the things and all. So how the software industry cope up with such kind of changes, that again is to be implemented under the software change management. What is the role of that CMM manager and all? How the the DBA and other key players, they participate in the change management and all. All these aspects we will cover under this. So we have to develop a change management plan or change how to implement this kind of change. Although this implementation will be done at the part of development team, because development team will ask for the change request, then there will be proper channel of approval. Because in the software industry, even if you have to changes apply a small change, again it is to be done with a proper channel, right? So in the journey of applying changes into the existing software, how actually the management aspect is implemented, and where the things is to be kept for the sake of future reference and all. So that all aspect we will cover in theory classes also under the change management. So after going through with that understanding, or after gaining that understanding, you will be able to transform the railway reservation system into as per the specification that was already mentioned into the point number 138.4 or 5 and 6. So we have to connect these things basically, right? Next one is demonstrate the software development developed in section 13 to any other person and make a list of the changes requested by him or her to implement the changes in the following in the software following the change control process. Demonstrate the updated software to the same person and system. Now, here again comes a very big challenge in front of us. That is, you have requested some changes to me. I understood and I transformed it into the coding part, and now it is reflecting to the end user or to the other person. But this entire journey again requires our communication skills. We have to uh, you know we have to communicate this idea in a very firm way in front of the party or in front of the client, so that they can find the difference that what was previous and what is now, right? Sometimes people used to say that you haven't applied anything, then how can you charge this kind of thing, right? We can't see any sort of difference. There's a small difference and you are charging for this thing. So again, here human issues need to come, and we have to know how to, you know, there again you must include such a person from their team who understand each and everything, right? So that whatever changes you are applying, how much effort the team is playing, you can convince them, they can understand it, right? So again, here we have to apply our human skills also, so that this kind of challenges can be resolved. Another important in the 15 activity we will cover, that is we have to select the software that we use regularly. We can take the example of MS Office or Gmail or MS Excel also, and create a set of usage scenario for the software. Because here what we are trying to do basically, we are creating basically different scenario, that what could be the possible scenario in which the software can be used. So by assuming any software into your mind, so when you will prepare such kind the answer of this particular question, you put the name of that software that you are assuming. Even if you are running your any software not which is mentioned here, some people are most of the people are rather professional or working here. So any software they are comfortable with, so you can consider that example also. This is just this is not mandatory that you should consider only this one, right? So whatever could be the possible scenarios that you can assume and mention that how the things, different scenario can be possible out of it. Because here comes the role of extensibility to the software, how the software can be enhanced. Unless there will not be any extended scenarios, the things cannot be go to the next level, right? So this is the idea behind it, that we have to, because the diversified audience is there who are, using our IT resources and all. So all those diversified, my software will be able to serve all those diversified audience. So this is the only idea. So you have to, scratch our mind onto this thing, that to get this kind of, understanding or scenarios. And yes, we need to collectively do the lots of scenario, exploring and all. Next one is, that is, select a small portion of the program which is written by you. Check if the portion of the code selected by you is having some sort of construct that violate the structure programming paradigm. So if yes, then rewrite the code to conform to the structure programming paradigm. If no, check whether, uh, if no, check another portion of the code. Means go to the, next level and all. So here, what all is the structure programming paradigm, how the things should go on, all this is, has I violated any sort of rules? Until unless I will not, be aware of all these things, till then I can't, analyze the thing basically. So the idea of this, you could be the part of any change management team, you could be the part of any quality management team, you could be the part of any web software engineering development tool, you could be the part of anywhere in the team. So your role is to be defined with the help of these activities. This is the only agenda. Another next important aspect is, that is, have a look at the output of any program that was not written by you. Preferably look at an application that is not developed by you, and write the program for the development of that application or a portion of that program. So it is very easy to pinpoint the mistake of other people, right? So we should be ready for all the profiles, for all the portfolios that we have to apply into the industry. So that is why this, activities is included into it. That have a look at the output of the program, and if it is, uh, which is not written by you, so that you can think out of the box, you can have a different angle of lens onto this thing and all. So again, the this, to my understanding, this activity will really encourage the developers and the, team player, different team players, to apply their creativity, their innovation into the software industry. Because it is said that yes, software engineering always is said to be the another side of the creativity also. So every time, keeping in view of the changing requirement at the part of client, at the part of different aspects of the business and all, we need to apply different sort of, innovation into the software. So by doing such kind of activities, our brain will work accordingly, and it will start thinking in this way. So this is the, idea of having this kind of, activity or lab exercise into your curriculum. Assume that you are interested in developing the library information system, visit any library. So I just, although how can I, mention this as my work? But yes, I can mention it. So the basic idea that you can capture out of this, activity is that if you really want to get, although this point that we have already covered in our first practical lab, that we need to apply the on-site visit to capture the idea of the client, of the software basically. So yes, it is a very brilliant idea, rather I must say, that you visit to that place for which you are going to develop the software. So that is why it is said that you think that you are interested in developing the library information system, so better to visit there. If I want to develop a software for the McDonald's, so it's better to go there and all. So you can have some better, bigger picture of the things basically, right? Again, if you will visit, you will capture the exact requirement and how the things move on. All the parameters are written here. So this, now I'm taking you to the this part, which is, I hope some of you, most of you have opened it early, entirely also. All these points, whatever I have, discussed till now, I have captured this point from here only. This is the source, so that things become more clear. And what was relevant for my discussion, that I have kept here. So the entirely, if you go through with that thing, you will get an idea that how, what kind of activities we are supposed to do under each and everything. So when it comes to objective, so our proposed system should be able to, that I have covered. I think, yeah, I have covered this one. Yeah, when it comes to the specification product to be delivered, so here the product that will be delivered, we need not to include all these things. This one need not to focus on this not part. When you are about to write about the specific parameters of the product, no need to mention all these aspects. So while writing the SRS, take care of all these aspects also. Activities and milestone, that is, yeah. Verification of the user, because a single software application is to be used by many people in the team. Right? It could be internal user, end user, any users could be the part of users category. So verification, we have to include such a scenario in which we can verify different types of user also. Again, the migration of the Excel data, validation of the migrated data, and another important aspect which actually talks about the project parameter, project management approach application of the software development is always whenever the discussions start and you finalize that, okay, as the feasibility report is saying that yes, we can fulfill your commitment, keeping in view of our previous commitment and all, and we are having some sort of profitability also there. So once this yes or green signal is generated, so it means we have to set these milestone basically. You need to, because people are ready to work, they have the skill set and everything, but it is the responsibility of the project manager to set a deadline for with each activity. The people will not do until unless you will not assign them the task. So and they divide the entire software development work into different activities and milestones, and set the deadline for each activity. So
हेलो।
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 हाय एक्चुअली आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन। क्या किसी को क्लियर है कि 20 सेशन जो भी हमें करने हैं ये इसी सेमेस्टर के अंदर हमें सबमिट करने होंगे? हेलो।
Who is
Neha,
here to
your voice
answer
is too slow. Please speak loudly.
सॉरी।
No.
एक्चुअली माय क्वेश्चन इज जो मैम ने हमें ये 20 सेशंस दिखाए हैं जो हमें कंप्लीट करके वॉट पैड के थ्रू ट्राइब से शेयर करने हैं वो इसी सेमेस्टर के अंदर करने हैं या टोटली एमसीए के जोड़े में होगा? एनीवन हैज क्लियर्ड दिस?
ये तो मैम ही आंसर कर पाएगी ना।
जो मैम ने ये फोल्डर्स बनाने के लिए बोला था उसकी बात कर रहे हो? और ये जो छोटे मोटे प्रोजेक्ट्स मिलते रहते हैं वेब पेज बनाना और
एग्जैक्टली।
Then those things are related to the particular subject ना, तो वो साथ के साथ ही करते रहें तो अच्छी बात है।
बट आई वांट टू बी श्योर कि ये जो 20 सेशंस हैं ये हमें फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर के अंदर करके सबमिट करनी है या ये ओवरऑल 4 सेमेस्टर के अंदर करके सबमिट करने हैं, क्योंकि यहाँ पे टॉप पे लिखा हुआ है प्रोजेक्ट प्लानिंग, तो ये फाइनल प्रोजेक्ट के लिए है या हमें माइनर प्रोजेक्ट्स में ये करना है? क्योंकि शायद वी हैव अनदर माइनर प्रोजेक्ट अलोंग विद मेजर प्रोजेक्ट, सो ये 20 सेशंस इसी सेमेस्टर के लिए है।
सिलेबस में तो ऐसा कुछ मेंशन नहीं है, कहीं माइनर प्रोजेक्ट की बात हुई नहीं है सिलेबस में। मेजर प्रोजेक्ट है तो वो तो मैडम इन जनरल बोल रहे हैं कि हाँ इन चीज़ों को आप फॉलो करोगे तो मेजर
आई थिंक सेकंड सेमेस्टर या थर्ड सेमेस्टर में हमें एक माइनर प्रोजेक्ट करना होता है थर्ड सेमेस्टर में, और तो वो बात की बात है। बट ये अभी 20 सेशंस इनका क्या करना है, हमें अभी करना है या ये ड्यूरिंग ये 4 सेमेस्टर सबमिट कर सकते हैं?
आई थिंक अभी ही करना होगा मेरे हिसाब से, तो क्योंकि छोटी छोटी चीज़ें हैं तो साथ ही साथ होती रहेंगी।
नेहा ये तो मैडम से ही पूछना पड़ेगा ना हम लोग।
सबसे बड़ी बात तो ये असाइनमेंट का इशू है, लाइक 31
कैसे डिसाइड करेंगे
तक ये सब असाइनमेंट कैसे सबमिट होनी है, दैट इज द बिग क्वेश्चन। अच्छा, आप सबकी असाइनमेंट्स रेडी हो रही हैं?
बहुत लोगों ने तो जमा कर दिया भाई।
नहीं हुआ
भाई इतने गेले लोग हैं कहाँ से?
अरे बहुत सारे यशस्वी लोग हैं।
अभी वही
यार ये ऑनलाइन कहाँ बैठे हैं आगे?
सब्जेक्ट के रिगार्डिंग नॉलेज ही नहीं है तो उसे करें कैसे?
हाँ बिल्कुल एग्जैक्टली, असाइनमेंट तो लास्ट पार्ट होता है ना, असाइनमेंट में तो वो तो होगी, आराम से होगी यार ये, मतलब अगर तो ये एक फॉर्मेलिटी है फिर तो कॉपी हो जाएगी।
बिल्कुल।
हाँ तो अभी तो वही हो रहा है, अभी जो असाइनमेंट जमा हुए हैं वो तो उसी तरीके से हुए हैं ना।
एटलीस्ट 3 महीने तो देते हैं यार, एकदम से बोल देंगे असाइनमेंट तो कैसे हो पाएगा?
पॉसिबल नहीं है। यदि देखो
अगर असाइनमेंट के साथ इफ योर असाइनमेंट इज हेल्पिंग यू इन योर एग्जाम तो उस असाइनमेंट का कुछ मतलब निकलता है। अगर ये फॉर्मेलिटी है तो फिर क्या ही फायदा उसका ना।
लखविंदर मैं भी एकदम
दिस इज जस्ट अ फॉर्मेलिटी, नथिंग एल्स।
हाँ अभी तो लगी फॉर्मेलिटी रही है ना, लाइक बर्डन हो रही है।
30th में तक है तो केवल फॉर्मेलिटी है।
लाइक instead of helping us ये assignment, it is these assignments are becoming a kind of burden for all of us.
Definitely.
Yeah, right. बिल्कुल।
एक्चुअली आवर सेशन टाइम है जनवरी टू जुलाई, तो हमें उस अकॉर्डिंग तो मई लास्ट में जमा ही करना होगा। और फॉर ओडीएल स्टूडेंट ही 31 मई जो है वो एक्सटेंड हुआ, क्योंकि उनके लिए 31 अप्रैल था लास्ट डेट और ये 1 मंथ एक्सटेंड हुआ, तो आई डोंट थिंक इसके बाद भी एक्सटेंड होगा असाइनमेंट के लिए।
नहीं, दिस ईयर तो नॉर्मल रहेगा।
अच्छा, मतलब यू मीन टू
इस
से
ईयर तो
कुछ एक्सटेंड नहीं होगा?
नहीं नहीं, एक्सटेंड नहीं होगा इस ईयर तो नॉर्मली
नहीं, मैं ये
सिचुएशन हो
कह रही
जाएगी।
हूँ कि ऑलरेडी जो सबमिट करने का डेट था वो 31 अप्रैल तक ही था और ये 1 मंथ एक्सटेंड होकर मेल हुआ है, तो अभी आगे एक्सटेंड नहीं होगा, हमें 31 मे के अंदर ही जमा करना होगा।
नहीं, मुझे तो ये लगता है धीरेन्द्र
नहीं
एंड
नहीं नहीं
नेहा
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता। लाइक
देखिए,
एडमिशन
जो
की
लास्ट
एडमिशन
बैच
की
है उसकी जो एग्जाम है वो अप्रैल में हुई है, तो
हाँ
आखिर जो यहाँ पर भी वैल्यूएशन से रिलेटेड जितने भी फैकल्टीज होंगे तो वो भी तो
हाँ,
आखिर वहाँ पर बिजी होंगे ना, तो वो हमारे
और
असाइनमेंट्स चेक करने के लिए कैसे अवेलेबल रहेंगे अभी?
बिल्कुल। और दूसरी बात, एडमिशन की डेट तो इतना एक्सटेंड कर रहे थे, अब जिसने लास्ट
हाँ
डेट में एडमिशन लिया होगा तो उसका तो
हाँ
क्या
बिल्कुल
ही
लखविंदर, यदि हम एडमिशन के अकॉर्डिंग यदि बात करें तो यदि
हाँ,
एडमिशन की जो लास्ट डेट थी तो
वहीं
उस
से
डेट से कम 6 महीने का समय तो मिलना चाहिए ना।
बिल्कुल वही कंसिडरेशन होनी चाहिए, लास्ट डेट
बस
से ही
हम
होती है।
लोगों को भी वही लग रहा
एक्चुअली
था।
जो एग्जाम की डेट जो शिफ्टिंग हुई है वो बिकॉज ऑफ ये कोविड पीरियड हुआ था, सो आई थिंक ये इस ईयर से ये पूरा अपना टाइमलाइन पे करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
नहीं
तो
मैम, नेहा मैम, कहाँ टाइमलाइन, कौन सी टाइमलाइन की बात कर रहे हो? अगर टाइमलाइन होता तो जनवरी में हो जाती ना हमारी एडमिशन, तो मार्च अप्रैल में कहाँ होती है?
एग्जैक्टली।
टाइमलाइन तो खैर कुछ नहीं है। दूसरी बात है, हम लोगों को ये मतलब इसको एक्सेप्ट भी नहीं करना चाहिए। लाइक मैं तो चाहता हूँ कि हम सबको लिखना चाहिए, मैं तो लिख ही दूंगा, है ना?
नहीं,
तो
मैं भी
हम सबको,
लिखूंगा लखविंदर।
हाँ बिल्कुल लिखना चाहिए सर। ऐसा तो मतलब असाइनमेंट हमारे लिए बर्डन हो रही है तो उसका तो कुछ फायदा नहीं है, ठीक है ना?
देखो देखो, दो तरीके हैं।
मेंटली प्रेशर इंक्रीज करता है
दो
बच्चों को।
तरीके हैं कि असाइनमेंट को या तो आप कॉपी करके सीधे सबमिट कर दो,
हाँ बिल्कुल
है ना?
सही है, बिल्कुल
है ना?
बिल्कुल।
और
नहीं,
दूसरा
उनके
यदि आप
गाइडलाइंस में
प्रॉपरली
है
यदि
कि
आप
कॉपी
टाइमलाइन के
पेस्ट होगा तो
अकॉर्डिंग,
वो
मैडम
हाँ,
आ गई।
अगर तो ये असाइनमेंट बर्डन ही है फिर तो कोई फायदा नहीं है, और बर्डन ही बन रही है फिलहाल तो।
मैडम आ चुकी हैं।
सॉरी मैम,
मैम मैम आई हैव अ
सॉरी
क्वेश्चन।
मैडम।
मैंने तो ऑफलाइन में ही सारी स्टोरी खत्म कर दी। हैव यू हियर्ड माय स्टोरी?
मैम आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन।
हमारा
मैम ये
कनेक्शन
जो
कब ब्रेक हुआ? स्टोरी स्टार्ट हो गई थी
सॉरी
क्या?
मैम, सॉरी।
मैम
नहीं
एक्चुअली
नहीं
वी हैव लॉट्स ऑफ डाउट्स।
नहीं, पहले एक मिनट मेरी बात बताओ, हमने कहाँ ब्रेक हुआ? मुझे यही नहीं पता चला। ये तो मैंने देखा कि कोई आवाज नहीं आ रही, मैं क्वेश्चन पूछती जा रही हूँ, तो आई थॉट कि समथिंग वेंट रॉन्ग।
आई थिंक
नहीं, हम
15
लोग
20 15 मिनट्स हो
कोशिश
गए,
कर रहे
10
थे
15
मैडम,
मिनट्स।
आपसे
ओह,
हाँ
कम्युनिकेट करने की कोशिश कर
लेट
रहे
मी
थे।
टेक अ ग्लास ऑफ वाटर फर्स्ट।
ओके मैम।
या श्योर।
कहाँ से हमारा छूट गया था वो? आज बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है। Anyway, तो हम कहाँ पे थोड़ा ब्रेक हो, मुझे आइडिया दो। हम यहाँ पर आ गए थे स्क्रीन पर, इस पर स्क्रीन
स्टेशन
पर।
कैंटीन।
एक मिनट रुको, मैं अपनी
Session
स्क्रीन से लूँ। We were here or we were here? Question number, can you recall? Yes,
Ma'am, in last session,
this
session
one.
90 and 20.
Achha, okay. So I assume that now everyone has got this idea that it's better to visit the place for which we are going to develop the software and all. So after this, I just moved to this part when after clicking on this MCS-217 lab manual which was shared by the IGNO. So I have just discussed this point. So whatever I have discussed till now, that points I have taken out from this lab manual of IGNO basically, right? So there are certain things that need to be mentioned. There are some specific product to be delivered. Now you all can map these parameters which are in front of you, that how there are certain activities that must be the part of that must not be included into the product specification and all. that is the product that will be delivered, that the tested system and network parameters and client workstation, all these aspects should not be covered under this specification of the product which is to be delivered, right? Because it keep on changing with the different aspect of the software. There are certain activities that must be done, and we have to achieve certain milestone also. That is the verification of the user, because every software is intended, is created for the purpose of some specific user. That is, users can be end user, that could be internal user, business user, different market players, and many kind of users could be there. So we have to analyze the users with respect to their roles and all. So that activity must be included into our exercise that we are going to cover into the SRS part. Migration of the Excel data is important, because most of the time we export the data from Excel and integrate it into our database and all. So another important dimension that I was about to cover, and that is the project management. Here comes the role of basically project management. That is, every project, whenever we are going to develop any kind of software, so we have to uh, take that software development work as a project, and every project will be called as a project only if it has a defined start date and defined end date. And approximation can be done keeping in view of the requirement, because that requirements are freeze, then the effort can be calculated, and accordingly the effort is calculated in terms of number of hours or number of months and all. So that can be then an approximation idea can be generated. So apart from this, another important thing is that whenever we are about to set the project start date and end date, have a flexibility of 20 to 30% of the margin must be there, so that, because we all are human beings, we all are bounded under our personal commitment also, and sometimes some health issues are also associated with some of the people in the team also. So there are certain uncertain parameters also that can crop up in the near future also. So keeping in view of all these aspects, whenever you ask for some deadline, or you are assigning any deadline to the, or you are doing any sort of commitment to the client, have a margin of 20 to 30% space in between, so that if anyhow some what we call it as an uncertain factors are or constraints are impacting your software, then that can be managed, right? Because if I have taken some sort of commitment and I was not able to fulfill that commitment into that stipulated time period, so that can spread in the market like a fire into the market. So that will really not only spoil my image or my business image or my as a professional image, rather it will impact my future prospect also. So keeping in view of all these things, whenever you are about to set any project deadline, have a margin into it, so that if the uncertain things will come, it will be managed. Right? Resource requirement, because every software, it never runs alone. It always work in the integration of other components also, in terms of hardware, in terms of other supporting software, and in terms of other tools required at different level of the software engineering application practices and all. So three different environments are expected, that is development environment, quality control environment, and this deployment environment. Sometimes the software is ready to launch, it is running very well into my environment, but for which company or for which client I have developed this particular software, some deployment challenges are there. So here again comes the role of UML also. There are deployment diagram also that help them to resolve certain kind of deployment issues also, that can be resolved with the help of deployment diagram and all. So another important dimension is, yes, scheduling. Although one more important thing that I have to cover, that is documenting. So although I have covered that entire story, and I was thinking that you have completed, you will raise some query out of this story. But anyway, the crux of the story is that documentation plays a very important role into the industry. So every time either we are interacting with the client or we are jotting down any sort of specific parameter with respect to the software, or although there are not many kind of documentation that need to be prepared, and that formal documentation will actually serve as a blueprint of the entire software engineering effort. So yes, documentation is the most important aspect. We have to take it seriously. And then scheduling. As in the morning class also I have emphasized on this part that time is the important, uh, what we call it as a resource for the company who is going to develop the software. So a tentative plan of the time dimension is captured out of the requirement documentation, so that a plan is prepared, Gantt chart is prepared. By looking at this diagram, you can just simply get an idea that okay, once there are the work has been started in the month of June and it is about to finish at the in the month of November, and when one activity get finished, then only the certain things get started, right? But the bar chart could be of any format. Certain activities can be done parallelly also. But depending upon your client, specification, your project specification, this Gantt chart is giving an idea to the project manager that in how many phases the things are run, how the things are dependent on one another, why the coder has not developed the code because the test cases were still not completed. So once this test cases will be done, then the further phase will come out. So this again Gantt chart and PERT chart, they are the tool to reflect the time dimension of the software development work. So that we have to manage time to time, so that if the project is deviating from the deadline, so as a project manager, I have to ensure that the things must be completed on time. Even if some challenges are there, keeping in view of that also we have to manage the thing, because we have already set the deadline of the work, so the work has to be finished under that time period only. So yes, PERT or Gantt chart is another important thing. When you will develop the SRS, you have to use one tool, or you can use both the tool also. Although I will recommend to go for PERT chart. Although Gantt is also good, no problem. So you have to develop so that whenever your project Viva will go on, the examiner, they look for the PERT chart first and they get an idea, okay, when you have started your project. So they just try to find out that who all was actually involved into the work, and how the this phase has taken so much time. What was the challenges you have faced during this phase? This kind of internal questions that actually will be answered by those people only who are indulged into the work. So again, this is an important thing.
Sorry,
Yes.
ma'am, what is a pod chart?
PERT chart, project evolution, although in some of the book it is called as a project, also in some of the book it is written as a program also, right? Project, we call it as a project evaluation and review technique, right? Let's say I'm taking one example. I have been assigned a task to what we call it as a shift the old chair from this library and bring the new chairs into the each and every room of the PCTN. So again, it can be we can take it as a project also, that how the shifting of these chair or replacement of the old chair with that of the new one should be done, so that no class should hamper, everything should be finished on time, nothing everything should be done. So to complete this task, I can plan the things in this way, and that can be reflected in terms of PERT chart also. So PERT and Gantt, these are two tools in the hands of software engineer to reflect the time dimension of your software project. Right? I will take one example also during the theory classes and all, so that you will get to know, and you will just have to put that parameter of the PERT chart into the Excel file. And in Excel, we are having the Gantt chart and bar chart and column chart, different kind of charts are there. By using that statistics value, we can transform that statistics into the chart, so that it will give a better idea in terms of understanding. Right. Another important thing is budgetary estimate. It is the most important aspect of the entire cycle that we have covered till now. So the whole budgetary estimate although there are 2-3 more models are there, but I will prefer to go for cost constructive model, which is called as the COCOMO model, which is called as the cost constructive model, because estimation always plays a very important role into the software engineering. So we have to follow certain aspect of the estimation that give us our idea in terms of cost, because this idea will make a connection between both the parties, right? So working with the requirement, when the requirement is being finalized, then we need to do, we need to then the cost estimation, SRS creation will be there, traceability of the requirement will be there. So all these things I have to apply onto the requirement part basically, right? Feasibility report. Another important thing is feasibility report. That is the terms in this you can just get an idea out of this, that we have to into the introduction part of the this feasibility report, we have to give the project background, that why why a proposed system is going to be developed, right? So and there should we can include the some sort of layout also with respect to the kind of report that the top management or any level of management they are looking for. So that will be included into the introduction part. And the next terms of reference, it will define the expectations of the project and the time frame and the available resources, which all I have referred or accessed during the development of that software and all. Existing system, this includes the result of fact finding techniques and working of the current system and the problems of the current system. Basically, to develop a better system, it is always recommended to explore the current system first. So what idea I have captured after exploring the existing system, that we have to capture as a under the heading of existing system, so that we can even it could be one of the point for the marketing team also, those who are involved into the marketing of the software that we are going to develop, so that once that things will be clear, then that can be make the other party to be understandable when we are going to capture the client for this particular software. So we can make them, we can differentiate the old version of the same software with that of the current one, or the newer version, or the latest version, so that they will get a difference between these two. So, and it could be possible when we will analyze the existing system basically. Next one is system requirement, which include the system requirement after discussion with the system user. So whatever the communication has been done at the part of system user, that must be reflected under this heading. What could be the proposed feature that I am expecting to be there into the proposed system that we are looking for? So that must be defined in the form of the outline of the proposed system in terms of input and output. Development plan, economical feasibility, and other feasibility parameter. And for reflecting the idea of these aspects, we can include Gantt chart, we can include bar chart, we can include cost estimation and all. Different cost estimation techniques like cost constructive model or COCO model. I have just spoke about it, right? So even if now whatever heading, now I just want to also I have covered these parameters also. Just a minute. Now, while writing the background of the project, you need to mention the basic requirement of the user and the working of the system. In terms of that, the client should be able to upload the available data in Excel files into the database. So these are the things that we have to mention under the background of the project. So it means again you can frame out some questions out of it, that what sort of things you need to capture so that this validity checker parameters can be ensured onto the software. Report, what kind of report your client is looking for, give the information about the layout of the report here. So all you can imagine that terms of reference, what I have covered. Apart from this, there are certain other aspects also, that expected system should work by the processing of the employee data of the organization, and the data is to be stored securely in the database and all. So you all just go through with this system. Most of the things I have covered from that part. And now I'm taking one example of the data dictionary, which is the most important part. And this question is asked in the theoretical exam also, that what is data dictionary. So you can take this as a sample, that how we have to define each and everything. That if I'm taking client, so where it should be used, where the client name is to be used in the function testing, and in the diagram and in the class diagram we have to define the client in terms of different data members and all. So this is the kind of things, this is how the data dictionary is to be created, right? So I'm keeping now every further part of this to you. You just go through with this, because this one we have already covered into the theory classes in the morning session. So I'm keeping now everything with you. You just go through with this, and if by the next class you come up with the doubt or confusion, any sort of clarification if you are looking for, and the kind of input output format we have to define this way. You just go through. This is a small homework, although it's not small, it will take time. Just go through with this entire documentation lab manual, so that we can discuss on it, and then we will cover the different other tools. And some of you were talking that we are facing some sort of doubts and gaps and all. One by one, you just raise your query. So now, before I jump to the question answer session, you just let me know. Now everyone is clear on this part, that what you are supposed to bring in the next class, by the next class. That is, you just completely go through with the lab manual. How, where the lab manual is, that source you are already having with you. You just go through with it, have some question, ask this question into the next practical lab, right? If any questions from anybody's sides are there, then let me take the attendance, because otherwise it plays an important aspect. Now your attendance is also going to be uploaded onto the LMS of IGRO. So everyone, I request everyone, please, if it is possible, keep your camera to be on, so that we can upload, so that gaps can be reduced basically. If it is possible for all of you, just keep your camera to be on. Just एक अभी भी आ रहे हैं. तो 49 से ज्यादा नहीं आते क्या? एक मिनट रुको, इसका पूछना पड़ेगा.
You are in mute, ma'am.
नाउ आई एम अप फॉर द क्वेश्चन. आपके कुछ कंफ्यूजन थे, डाउट्स थे, एक एक करके आप पूछिए.
You were mentioning that minor and major project and modules things.
वो मुझे लेट मी कंफर्म फर्स्ट. लेट मी कंफर्म कि आपके ऑनलाइन एमसीए में वो मिनी प्रोजेक्ट है या नहीं है. लेट मी आस्क. पहले मैं कंफर्म करूंगी तब उसके ऊपर हम बात
Not that many and major thing. You mentioned some like making some modules and all. So that is for first semester or later stage like third semester or fourth semester.
although because again I am telling you na, that this is your 2-year program, but in previous this mini project was there into the MCA 4 semester, in MCA 3rd semester, not MCA 4 semester, right? So there's a difference, there's some sort of confusion. Let me ask for this thing, then only I can communicate to you, right? Next please.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question? You were saying that you are facing some sort of lots of questions are coming into your mind. If you want to raise, so homework सबको clear हो गया है. Everything is aware of what homework I am expecting by the next class. We just go through with each and every line of the lab manual. If some doubts are there, then definitely we can discuss. Do we have to make any record for our lab session? Yes. In the very beginning, I told you, create a folder with your name, with your enrollment number. Keep this folder into your drive, into the Google Drive, so that once we will plan an activity so that I can go through with that thing. And even I told you that IGNO is planning such kind of activities at their LMS also, right? So maybe that folder will be uploaded by you or by us. Still the things are in progress. So let it finish first. Then you just maintain the copy of that record at your part. You just do that, which is important, because that folder will give an idea of the work that you have applied during the practical session and all. Right? Any questions? Any other question?
मैम असाइनमेंट के रिगार्डिंग कुछ कंफ्यूजन हो रही है. लाइक असाइनमेंट के रिगार्डिंग कंफ्यूजन यही है कि मतलब असाइनमेंट इज like it's becoming a kind of headache for us. Like 31st deadline, like if we see at a deadline 31st, तो अगर इतने फ्री होते तो मेरे हिसाब से फिर रेगुलरली कर लेते. तो ये ऊपर
आप देखिए ना 14 today is 14, although we are talking about this assignment section from the 1st May, right? और आपके इंडक्शन से ये प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया. बच्चे यू आर हैविंग सफिशिएंट 1 month, एंड 1 month में आपको क्या है, देख के समझ के, आपको कोई ये नहीं बोल रहा है दैट आपको लर्न करके वो लिखना है. आपको डिफरेंट सोर्सेज से डेटा निकालना है. दैट इज व्हाई ये जो आपको सोर्स दिया गया है, ये जो मैंने आपके सोर्स इकट्ठा, ये आपकी हेल्प के लिए है. आई हैव रियलाइज योर पेन एंड ऑल कि आप लोग कितना करें. अभी मैं आपको एक छोटा सा लॉजिक दिखाती हूँ. आपकी प्रॉब्लम का सोल्यूशन है यहाँ पर देखिए. आपने ये ब्लॉग अच्छे से गए हो, सबने क्लिक किया है, इस पे देखा है, हैव यू गॉन थ्रू?
यस मैम. देखा था
आपने. नहीं, इस वाले लिंक पे नहीं गए होंगे. गए हो आप इस पे? खड़क सिंह वाले लिंक पे गए हो, गीक्स पे गए हो? ये तो सबको पता है गीक्स वाला तो. बट अगेन यहाँ पे बहुत कुछ है. जो ये वाला मटेरियल है, मैंने यहाँ पे वो पूरा टेक्स्ट भी लिख दिया है जो अवेलेबल है. दैट इट कंटेन्स 4 crore 60 lakh बुक्स डेटा. यू जस्ट गो टू दिस प्लेस. आप अपने, क्योंकि इस एक्सरसाइज को 1-1.5 महीना चलाने का आइडिया ही बेसिकली ये है कि आपको सफिशिएंट टाइम एक्सप्लोर करने का मिले. अब लेट्स से आपने SDLC चाहिए, आपको नहीं समझ में आ रहा जो आपने इग्नो ब्लॉग में लिखा है, वहीं पर ना क्लासेस में कुछ समझ में आ रहा, ना प्रैक्टिकल में तो बिल्कुल ही कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है. कोई बात नहीं, आप जाओ. देयर इज अ बिग सोर्स. आप देखो जो मैंने वर्ड डाला उसके ऊपर मुझे इतने सारे रिजल्ट मिल गए हैं. आप देखो तो सही, आप गए ही नहीं अंदर. इवन मैं खुद भी, I keep on updating myself with the passage of time and all. मैं भी यहाँ जाके पढ़ती हूँ, समझती हूँ कि ओके ये चेंजेस आ गए हैं, ये हो गया है, समथिंग लाइक दैट. तो बिकॉज IT इंडस्ट्री तो है ही ऐसी इंडस्ट्री जहाँ पर आपको अपडेट करना पड़ेगा, और उसके लिए एक अच्छा ऑथेंटिक सोर्स होना आपके लिए बहुत जरूरी है. तो आप जाओ यहाँ पर, ये सारे सोर्सेज. इसीलिए मेरे को जब कुछ अच्छा मिलता है आई कीप इट हियर ओनली, सो दैट जो भी पढ़ेगा उसको एक ही कंटेनर पे, एक ही टेबल पे, सारा डैशबोर्ड पे सब कुछ मिल जाएगा. उसको 4 जगह हाथ नहीं मारना पड़ेगा. मेरा आइडिया ही यही था बस. ठीक है, तो आप यहाँ पर जाओ. बहुत सारे और भी अगर मुझे मिलेंगे तो मैं इसको अप्लाई करती जाऊंगी और इसमें डालती जाऊंगी, उसको हेडिंग के साथ अपडेट करती रहूंगी. जिन्होंने पिछले वीक में हमारे ये क्लासेस ली थी उनको पता है ये ब्लॉग इसी वीक अपडेट हुआ है, ऐसे जैसे थिंग्स आर अराइजिंग, I keep on updating on that thing so that it can serve your purpose basically. तो आप जाओ वहाँ पर हो जाएगा, और आपस में एक दूसरे से आप हेल्प ले सकते हो इन द सेंस ऑफ कि आपको कोई बेटर सोर्स मिला, एक दूसरे से डिस्कस कर सकते हो आप। मैं आपको पिछले बैच की अप्रोच बताती हूँ, जस्ट फॉर योर आप सबको मालूम भी है, खैर मैं क्या बताऊंगी, बट द पॉइंट इज दिस, पीयर सपोर्ट ऑलवेज वर्क्स। आप अपना इंटरनल, उन्होंने पिछले बैच वालों ने व्हाट दे हैव डन, दे हैव क्रिएटेड इट्स इंटरनल ग्रुप। आप सबने मतलब पिछले ग्रुप का मैं आपको रेफरेंस देके बता रही हूँ, और उसमें उन्होंने अपना एक, हम टीचर्स उसमें कोई भी नहीं थे, ऑफिशियल ग्रुप का पार्ट नहीं थे, उन्होंने अपना एक ग्रुप बनाया, वहीं पर दे कीप ऑन डिस्कसिंग एंड एवरीथिंग। They have just informed this idea to me, that is why I'm sharing this idea with you. You can also do the same thing. You all need support one from one another. You all have better understanding about a thing. If one person, let's say Shivam, is having a better idea about a thing, he can share into that peer group of your WhatsApp or Telegram, जो बनाना है बनाओ. Sonali is having another set of understanding, he can share. So that will really create a difference. और कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है, और आप सबके पास अगर सोर्सेज सेम है और चीजें सेम है, तो ऑब्वियसली कुछ ना कुछ तो जरूर निकल के आएगा। आपको सिर्फ ये समझना है कि आपको चीजों को नेक्स्ट लेवल पे कैसे लेके जाना, दैट्स इट। और गूगल तो है ही आपके पास, ओनली वन रिलायबल बाबा इन इंडिया, इन वर्ल्ड रादर, है ना।
असाइनमेंट के लिए तो हम लोग गूगल और अदर रिसोर्सेज को यूज कर सकते हैं, लेकिन आप लोगों ने वो वाइवा वाला भी एक सेगमेंट इसमें रखा हुआ है, उसका क्या करेंगे?
अब उसका भी मंत्रा बता देती हूँ मैं। अब आपने पूछा है तो बताना ही है। आपने जो आंसर शीट पे लिखोगे, जो आप रूल्ड शीट पे, एक और हैंड रिटन होना चाहिए, कोई प्रिंट आउट नहीं चलेगा। आप लोगों के माइंड में थोड़ा सा मिथ होता है, मिसकंसेप्शन होती है दैट ओके वी आर द IT स्टूडेंट, एवरी टाइम वी हैव टू टेक MS वर्ड में लिख दिया, और ये सब कुछ चीजें हैं ऐसी जो जिसमें आप टेक्नोलॉजी का सपोर्ट लोगे, आप सी की प्रोग्रामिंग कर रहे तो उसका स्क्रीनशॉट लगाओगे, वो चीजें आपको लगानी पड़ेगी, वो तो मैंडेटरी पार्ट है, अदरवाइज आप अपने काम को कैसे दिखाओगे। आपका जो भी रेलिवेंट क्वेश्चन ये आया कि मैं एनी हाउ यू हैव क्रिएटेड द दैट असाइनमेंट पार्ट, नाउ यू आर अज्यूमिंग दैट आप कुछ क्वेश्चन तो या कुछ सब्जेक्ट तो ऐसे हैं जिनके तो क्लासेस भी शुरू नहीं हुई होगी, आपके मन में ये भी क्वेश्चन आएगा, मैं आपको नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन भी बता रही हूँ, राइट। तो उसका आंसर ये है कि अगर आपने जो असाइनमेंट के क्वेश्चंस बनाने हैं वो इग्नो ब्लॉक से आप रेफर करो, आप गूगल से कोई डेटा निकालो, आप अपना अंडरस्टैंड करके पूरा उसको डॉक्यूमेंट करके अपनी आंसर शीट पे लिख दो। आपने जब वाइवा देने आओगे तो उन्हीं जो चीज वट एवर यू हैव रिटन देयर, आप उसको अच्छे से पढ़ के आओ, चाहे आपकी उस सब्जेक्ट की क्लास हुई है या नहीं हुई, इट डजंट क्रिएट डिफरेंस, बट वट एवर यू हैव written after so many खून पसीना and all, so that will really create a difference. वहीं से वाइवा निकालेंगे, हमने बाहर नहीं जाना है। हमें मालूम है आप सबका शेड्यूल जुलाई तक जा रहा है, क्योंकि यही प्यारा सा क्वेश्चन आपकी तरफ से आता है कि मैडम इसकी तो अभी क्लासेस भी स्टार्ट नहीं और आप तो इसमें वाइवा पूछ रही हैं इसके ऊपर, तो उसका आंसर मैंने आपको दे दिया है। जो लिखा है उसको अच्छे से पढ़ के आओ, 3 से 5 क्वेश्चन पूछे जाएंगे और उन्हीं में से उसका स्कोप वही रहेगा, वो जो आप डॉक्यूमेंटेशन डिपॉजिट कराओगे, दैट्स इट, और कुछ नहीं। राइट
मैडम, ये इसमें कोडिंग भी हैंड रिटन हो सकती है? दे शुड बी प्रेफरेबली हैंड रिटन।
अच्छा भाई, कोडिंग का तो निकाल लेंगे ना
आप कोडिंग निकाल भी सकते हो, उसका प्रिंट आउट निकाल सकते हो, तो कोडिंग में ना बड़ा दिक्कत आती है लिखने में, दिक्कत आती है उसमें लिखने में, तो आपको जो लगता है रेलिवेंट है आप करो उसको, कोई इशू नहीं है।
बट बाय एंड लार्ज इट शुड बी हैंड रिटन, ना?
Which one?
By and large it should be handwritten.
Yeah, by and large, yes.
Okay, and it should be uploaded to portal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other query from anybody's side? Have you gone through with the questions? I have kept that source of assignment also here. Let me show you. I see some of you have already. Assignment question, you all can see, so you don't have to go here and there, you just click here and you will be directly redirected to the your assignment section. You just go and get it. So assignment is there, and I told you, sir, that sorry, your voice is not clear. आपका PDF, whatever content I'm referring during the theory classes, it is also available in the form of PDF here, and all the IGNOU stuff which is readily available with the eGyan course, that link is also there. So everything is there. You just have to go. You have to just decide what you want to do today, right? So everything is there. Any other query from anybody's side? Yes.
Yes, that means these links are assignment link, right? That means example of assignments, how to done.
No. These are not examples. These are the actual IGNOU eGyan course link. आप URL check करो ऊपर. आप देखो ना. Let me take you again.
The PDF which is gone down.
Yes.
Gone down.
Entire everything is there which is required at the part of MC Online, and even at the bottom, if you say whatever documentation officials has shared with us, I have kept that also so that you can refer it in terms of credit system, which classes, how many classes, everything is there. You haven't gone through it till the bottom, na? So that's why you are facing some sort of, even if you are looking for some sort of hardware and software requirement also for running particular software or hardware, so that is also there. Everything is there.
No, I meant to say that for the reference purpose, we have any examples of assignment, how to complete those assignments?
No. As such, no. No.
That will help us very how to write assignments, because till now we have only listened what you have said, but for practical purposes, if we can see the assignment,
so now you are looking for some stuff. Now you are looking for some stuff that really help you to create the assignment, right? Right?
That means if we have some assignment which was previously done, and we can see how it by which manner it can be done, so it will help a lot.
Okay. So give me a little bit time so that I can add on this part also, right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other query, or shall I wind up? Any query from your side? Yes.
मैडम इस बार थोड़ी क्लासेस क्या है, अभी थोड़े समय पहले ही शुरू हुई है, तो रिसोर्सेज जो हैं, जो एथेंटिक रिसोर्सेज हैं,
आपकी आवाज थोड़ा क्लियर नहीं आ रही है, थोड़ा सा बीच में ब्रेक हो रही है, थोड़ा सा बताइए ठीक से.
हेलो.
हाँ जी
मैडम, एक्चुअली क्लासेस इस समय थोड़ी डिले शुरू हुई, या कहना चाहिए अभी जब शुरू हुई है, तो जो एथेंटिक रिसोर्सेज हैं वो अभी आप लोगों से हमें पता चल रहा है. हालांकि सारा कुछ डॉक्यूमेंटेड है, लेकिन फिर भी डॉक्यूमेंटेशन में उन चीज़ों को सर्च करना थोड़ा मुश्किल है. अभी आप लोग जब बताने से बहुत क्लियर हो रही है चीज़ें, लेकिन समय काफ़ी कम हो गया. 30th तक हमें असाइनमेंट सबमिट करने हैं. थोड़ा मुश्किल लग रहा है मैडम, और ये मतलब आप लोगों से पढ़ने के बाद चीज़ें लग रही हैं कि सारा कुछ अवेलेबल है, लेकिन समय बहुत कम है.
कोई बात नहीं, आप करना तो स्टार्ट तो करो.
यस मैम, इट्स अवर रिक्वेस्ट कि हमारा जो कंसर्न है, प्लीज फॉरवर्ड अवर कंसर्न टू द authorities so that they can at least understand, है ना. हमारी
You want to extend the assignment submission date? This is your question?
Yes, at least हम कुछ टाइम मिलना चाहिए so that we can enjoy this process. Assignment making को enjoy भी तो कर सकते हैं ना.
Right.
Because at the same time making assignment will help us to prepare for our exams also.
Yes, doing all assignments within the short time it will be difficult to us to submit, right?
मैंने आप लोगों के classes
Although
शुरू से पहले
as per the historical data, let me clear you this thing also, that it is quite possible that the deadline will get increased also as per the previous experience. But still, I'm not giving you any statement on to this part. But I have just shared one reference that in the past also it happens that the deadline was exceeded. So this time also, because again it is the first experience for you, for all of you. So we really want that you should enjoy this journey. So I will forward your concern to the right person. I will send.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Some
Ma'am, you please,
yeah.
ma'am, you please share the link of that blog.
Okay, now I can share because now. Someone was asking for the PDF PPT which I have shared in the morning class. So that is also available into the same group, into the same blog. I can show you here. You can just go through with it. Under the downloads button, there's that PDF is uploaded. Yes. You just go here and you will be able to capture that same PPT that I'm sharing in the morning classes. Right? Everything is there. Everything is there except assignment questions.
Okay.
Okay. Your query is answered? Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.